You literally bought it. This company is evil. The whole thing is that we weren't supposed to buy the product, and you bought the product. Do not redeem. Do not redeem. Do not buy the Switch 2. Please. Why? Why? Chat, the Switch 2 just dropped. It's D-Day. It is upon us. Moist Critical says massive Nintendo Switch 2 drama. He didn't say massive. I added that there, but it is massive. It's massive because I said so.
There are two things in this world that never work under any circumstances: the McDonald's ice cream machines and gaming boycotts. Gamers have an insatiable appetite to consume.
That's the problem, is that whether or not people decide that Nintendo's crossed the line, they will continue to purchase, and so therefore nothing will actually change. You have to just not buy the Switch 2. If you bought the Switch 2 in my chat, bro, we can just, I'm like, when someone calls me twin who bought the Switch 2.
To reject that urge goes against their very nature. Anytime something shiny comes out, you can bet your sweet bippy it will be purchased and played, no matter how vocal people are about abstaining from it and not buying it. Like, the most notable being Modern Warfare 2. There was a big hoopla and a huge movement about boycotting Modern Warfare 2, and then if you went into, like, the Steam group from the big boycott organization,
nothing ever happens. It's over. Nothing is ever going to change. Nintendo will keep raising the price of their slop. You will keep buying the prices of their slop, and we will forever just be treated like slaves to this corporation. Thanks, guys.
Almost every single person in there was currently
lots of giving wait, what?
Online on launch day playing the game. And that's just kind of been the song and dance for gaming boycotts forever, really.
Just called the Department of Happenings and got sent straight to voicemail. Nothing's ever happening. Nothing's ever changing. Nintendo will continue to beg you for money. That's what they're doing, by the way. They're begging you for money. Every time they make these fucking trailers for their remakes, they're like, please buy it.
Interrupting this broadcast real quick to give you an announcement that Starforge is doing an absolutely massive sale right now. So if you're looking to upgrade your PC,
I bought it.
That has happened. It's just not common. Vote with their wallets, and have been some outliers, a few exceptions where people really did vote with their wallets and voted no. That has happened. It's just not common. And right now, there was a huge push against the Nintendo Switch 2 for a lot of bad business practices, and people were talking about how they're definitely not buying it this time around, they don't want to support it. And I'm sure you can already guess chapter 2 of this story here, the climax. The Nintendo Switch 2 releases, and that shit has been gobbled up like a bowl of cereal by a ton of people that were very outspoken against the Switch 2.
I didn't buy it. I'm not going to buy it. And that's it. If people were saying they weren't going to buy it and then they bought it, they were riding the train of hate. And they were not principled. They were grifting. That's what grifters do. Grifters say that they're not going to do something until they want to do it. And they say that they're not going to do something when it's popular. And then they do it when it's popular. I said I wasn't going to buy the Switch 2. It's really popular to buy right now, and I haven't bought it. No money. I have money. I don't want to spend it on that. I mean, no, thank you. I'd rather throw whatever $600 at a toothless prostitute and get my knob gobbled on than waste $600 on that brick of a system by the minor attracted people at Nintendo. Like, I'm okay. That's not something that I'm going to throw money at. And the reality is, a lot of people who said they were going to do what I did didn't do it. And to those people, you're fake. You're gay. That's it.
And talking about, like, they won't be purchasing it, which was all very easy to say before it was available. But now that it's here, they have jumped on that opportunity to own one enthusiastically.
Not me.
And are playing it furiously and enjoying it too. I didn't expect the Switch 2 to flop. It was very predictable that everyone that was rallying against it was going to inevitably purchase it, because this is like clockwork. It happens all the time in gaming. It was always going to be a super success. And I talked to...
The problem is that the people who didn't want to buy it decided that they didn't want to buy it because it didn't look cool, or that they didn't like the $80 games or whatever. And they didn't have a moral stance against Nintendo as a company. And so therefore they were able to look past their grievances, as they weren't as irreconcilable as mine are. They were just kind of like, Nintendo, they're doing some things that I don't like, but it's not that big a deal. To me, it is that big a deal, so I'm not going to buy it. FOMO, fear of missing out, is real. I didn't buy the Switch 2, but if another sequel Splatoon comes out, I might buy it. Yeah, and I've said that as well. If there is a good enough game, that would be the circumstance in which I buy it. But otherwise, I'm just not doing it. The reality is that FOMO and being part of the current thing matters more to people than actually having principles and actually doing things that require you to make sacrifices. You have to make sacrifice. Like, imagine, this is maybe not the best comparison, but being a virgin. Being a virgin is something that people do out of principle, like religious values, and it's actually you are sacrificing sex and pleasure in order to be a virgin. And so for a lot of people, they just can't do it, right? They have that FOMO of getting their dick sucked on, so they just give in, right? And it's the same thing for this. In a weird way, that people are just, they're too scared of missing out on shit, on the newest hype, and so they're just gonna buy it.
About that numerous times over my coverage of Nintendo and everything that's been going on there recently. So I'm not surprised that I'm not angry or anything either. I just find it very silly. And unfortunately, it's putting me in a pickle where a lot of people think I'm going to cave and buy a Switch 2 any day now. Because I'm sure a lot of you know I'm not the biggest Nintendo enthusiast in recent years, with a lot of their behavior against the community that loves their games, as well as their litigious nature of going after things that they believe is some kind of threat, like Pow World, and really overreaching there, mind you. And their pricing, I think, being abominable and a huge blemish to this whole industry, trying to normalize the $80 first-party titles, paid services for things that are currently free, like the Discord equivalent in the Switch 2, which is just a much worse version of
it's terrible.
Using Discord.
It's laggy. It looks like shit, too.
I could go on and on. I've already told you these things. I don't need to just regurgitate them, fucking, baby bird them into your mouth again.
People should get FOMO about normal things like parties and concerts, not video games. Yeah, like, oh no, I'm not gonna get the new Switch 2. Oh, okay. All right. Like, you realize it's like a sunny day outside. You should get FOMO about not enjoying the weather. You should get FOMO about not going to the birthday party that you were invited to. You realize it's like a once-a-year thing, right? But the Switch, but I need to play the Switch. You're a foaming out of the mouth drool demon. You're a baby.
Point is, I've made it very clear that I had no plans of...
Yeah, FOMO about getting a job. Like, you're 30 years old and you do not have a job. You live with your parents and you have more FOMO about... getting the Switch than getting a fucking job. That's what this is. Like, this is a crazy timeline that we're living in.
Getting the Nintendo Switch 2. At the time, I had absolutely...
FOMO. You should have FOMO about showering. Fear of missing out of a goddamn shower. I might censor shower next time, but I have to get my point across. Let's use direct language.
No desire to get the Nintendo Switch 2.
The J slur? Yeah, it is the J slur. Can we not say job? Okay, I'm sorry.
And I still don't. I still didn't buy a Nintendo Switch 2, and I don't even have, like, the slightest semblance, like, not even, like, the one molecule in my being is tempted to buy the Switch 2. And that's not even because I'm someone that, like, calls for a boycott of Nintendo or anything. I really don't care. There's a lot of people that bought it, they're really enjoying it, and a lot of people are reporting that it's a great console, and I'm very happy that they're having fun with it. At the end of the day, that's the most important part. So it doesn't bother me whatsoever. I have never once tried to, like a shout out or rallying cry to stand up to Nintendo. If you want to buy it and you're having fun with it, all power to you. I'm just not in that camp. I've never tried to be a boy.
If you want to be a submissive and breedable loser who gives Nintendo stimulus packages and gives part of your child support payment to Nintendo every single month when you are 30 years old and childless, as long as you're having fun. No, I don't give a fuck if you're having fun. I don't care if you're having the time of your life. You're still a loser. You are still a slave. Aristotle wrote that some people choose to be slaves, and people don't like that. They disagree with it philosophically. But then you look at people who are waiting online to get ripped off, to get whipped like a slave, to get spat on and thrown into the gravel and the dirt while they're stepped on by the boots of Doug Bowser. And you think to yourself, Aristotle was kind of on the money. He was correct. He was correct in saying that there are people who will line up to be whipped and enslaved by Nintendo. But I like amiibos. But I like the Switch 2. You're a slave. But you may as well say, I like being a slave. I like how the whip feels on my back, and I love the missing money from my wallet, and I like being late on my child support payments. Oh wait, I'm childless. Oh wait, I've never been touched by a woman. Oh wait, I jerk off to VTubers. Oh wait, I have 56 bottles of lotion under my desk. Oh wait, I have no missed calls from any job that's looking to hire me. Oh wait, my water bill hasn't been paid for 2 months, but I haven't even noticed because I haven't used the shower. Oh wait, that reeking smell is not actually from my neighbors, it's of my own shit that has been crusted up on my butt. Oh wait, it's not good to DoorDash every single meal and Uber Eats every single meal, and buying groceries is something that could benefit my health. Oh wait, the loose tissues under my desk is actually not a normal thing, and the crusty amounts of garbage in my room that have my ejaculate on it should be cleaned up.
Boycott Barry here, trying to get people to not buy the Switch 2. All I've been doing is just talking about things that I personally don't agree with the way Nintendo's been doing things over the last couple of years. But if people want to...
You spying on me?
Get it? I think that's great. And have fun doing that. I've seen some really cool videos too from like the midnight launches. It felt very nostalgic because I remember being a kid going to like midnight launches for Gears.
Yeah, no, and going to a midnight launch for anything besides this, kind of hype.
Gears of War 2, for example.
There's a difference between being on the hype train and being on the boat from Africa to America that had slaves on it.
And the clips I've seen really do remind me of that. That's a very fun thing to see happen again. Like Dashi and Corey Kenshin were apparently at one of the midnight launches, and they were dancing and having fun, and everyone was having a great time for the Switch 2 launch. I'm not trying to drop trousers and plant my ass on the fun here. I am not the fun police trying to sound the alarm. I encourage it, and I'm glad so many people are enjoying it. I'm just not someone that is getting the Switch 2 for a variety of different reasons. Now, even if it wasn't like Nintendo's business practices that I had such an issue with, the launch catalog also just isn't really super appealing to me, personally. Looking at the Switch 2's drop just isn't exciting. It's mainly games I've already played before. In fact, it is almost exclusively games I've played before, except for the new Mario.
And people are taking out loans from their bank to purchase slop. People are going into debt. They're selling their clothes, and they're selling things that they've owned forever to... I'm just lying at this point. I'm just making shit up. But I will continue. They're selling their electronics. They're selling their kids in some cases to buy these games.
So, like, I don't really need to just pay full price for games I've already experienced just to experience them again on the Switch 2. That doesn't make me, salivate and want to sink my teeth into it. And I'm not so excited about the new Mario Kart that I need to go out there right now and buy the system to experience it. But that's just me and my size small underpants here. Like, That's not going to be a one-size-fits-all for everyone else. Maybe there are people out there that didn't play these games and want to experience them on the Switch too. They want to have the handheld capabilities. That's totally fine. And you bought the system so that way you can play them for the first time, or you're a huge Mario Kart fan and this was a system seller for you. Again, all power to you. It's just, for me personally, I won't be getting.
Look at the way that he has to say these things to make it so that he knows people, that he's like kind of an ally. If you did this and that was a reason for buying the Switch, then that's a-okay with me. And I like Moist Critical. I think it's interesting that he's saying all this stuff because it's like he knows if he goes too hard on the people that bought it, then they would go hard on him in the comments. They would eat him alive. They'd be like, "What? What? Let people enjoy things, Charlie. I've been a long-time fan until you said the Switch is bad."
Because of so many people that were outspoken now buying the Switch 2, I'm getting lumped into that group for some reason about like, any day now Charles is going to buy it because he was trying so hard to push against Nintendo and try and get everyone else to do that with him. I wasn't. Yes, I was pushing hard against Nintendo because it's a company that produces games that are really near and dear to my boners. I fucking love so many Nintendo games. Like, if you watch the video I just made on my top 50, a good chunk of those are Nintendo property. They make bangers, games that absolutely slap. But the company itself, I think, is outright, like, brutal. Like, they are absolutely brutal. And I just wish that wasn't the case, and it makes me upset. And I don't have any desire to support that. But again, that's just me. I'm not trying to get other people to do that as well. Again, the most important thing is that you're having fun. And if this is something you really want to get and you're enjoying it.
All right, Charlie, let me talk to you, bro. You need to stop bending over backwards to trying to appeal to these people. Talking about if this is what you want to get, then it's fine. Like, at the end of the day, if they get a Switch, yes, it's fine. I feel like he's been saying this for 4 minutes.
That's great. I'm having fun not getting it. So I'm not your enemy, Nintendo.
He's begging, dude. He's like, don't hurt me. He's like, guys, please. I'm not, don't hurt me. Do not hurt me, guys. He's literally begging. Please. I'm not your enemy. Put down your swords. Put down your Funko Pops. Put down your guns. He's literally on his knees with his hands on his head, talking about, I know I've been wrong. I know I've been bad, but just give me one more chance. Do not pull that trigger, okay? I know I've been bad. This is too much. This is too much.
Switch 2 fans. And I certainly don't think any less of anyone that did get a Switch 2. It's
I don't know if I believe you, bro. You gotta say it 20 more times.
really...
Nah, I'm just taking the piss, okay? I get why he has to do this. This give me a chance, dude, I mean, the thing is that I kind of get why he has to do this because, like, they are a vicious army. These are people who are so unemployed that they have to do this, okay? They take pride in taking the heads of people who do not like the Nintendo Switch. Let's go to my comment section, bro. I mean, on every video where I'm criticizing Nintendo, you do understand that people are, like, talking about me like I did the Holocaust, right? You want me to read some of these? I will. Let me read some of these. I got you, blood. Oh, hater. We'll keep hating the best workplace on planet Earth. Like, this is crazy. Let me see. Let me go find a good one here, because there are some good ones. No way we're being submissive towards Nintendo Switch 2 fans? Yeah.
Not that deep. I'm not fighting a war here. It's just one personal Neanderthal's decision to not buy the Switch 2 for a variety of different reasons that maybe don't matter to you at all. They just matter to me. That's it. So I'm not getting the Switch 2. I have no plans on it anytime soon. Will I consider it in the future? Maybe. You know, if Nintendo starts to work more with the community as opposed to against them, sure, I could definitely see myself getting a Switch 2 down the line to try and encourage that direction as opposed to the direction they've been going down for the last few years. Absolutely. It's not like I have some unreasonable, irrational, blind hatred of Nintendo as a company and will refuse to support them forever. Not at all. I would much rather be talking about Nintendo W's as opposed to L's. I would like to see them be more community-focused and more enthusiastic about, like, gaming in general as opposed to trying to figure...
Okay, well, there you go. I guess this is the result of people who are upset. Let's see. I'm reading some of the comments. I hate how people complain about the price of the Switch 2 and then they buy it anyway. Muda spent a month plus shitting on Nintendo and the people who would buy it and yet turned around and bought it on launch night. Wait, did he? Bro. Ooh, bro, he's getting some dislikes. Switch 2 dropped and it's not impressive. Damn. Bro stood on nothing. Bro told us not to buy it, so he had a better chance of getting one early. Vote with your wallet. Proceeds to vote yes.
I am not buying that Switch 2 right now, said the Indian guy. The Switch 2's sitting on his desk. Now let me explain, okay? Let me explain myself real quick.
He did not give a fuck. He did not care at all.
I actually had no intentions of picking this device up, but surprisingly, Nintendo has done a pretty good job. Was that a voice crack? God damn, am I slipping through people? Jesus. But I actually had no intention. Surprisingly, Nintendo has a pretty decent stock pool of these things. I actually called up a EB Games near my place, probably like 20 minutes away, and they said, yeah, you can just walk in and pick up a Switch 2 tonight.
You literally bought it. This company is evil. The whole thing is that we weren't supposed to buy the product, and you bought the product. Do not redeem. Do not redeem. Do not buy the Switch 2. Please. Why?
Tonight, and I was like, you know what? What if I could? So, ladies and gentlemen, I thought you typically had to pre-order these. I don't know, the last several years.
Dude, he stood on nothing.
Years of like buying any electronic. It almost feels like you either have to go through a scalper or actually wait a month.
Oh my goodness, brother. When he stood online.
Like, listen, we can't just sell Switches to like 600 people. You're gonna have to leave.
And I like Mudahar. Let me get it straight. I like this guy a lot. This is just, why? Why would you buy it?
And at one point in the line, it got cut off, but we were pretty much at the front of the door anyways. I was actually pretty pleasantly surprised I got there in time. For the first time in my life, I actually managed to make going up to one of these lineups actually worth it. But to be fair, midnight releases, man, they're a dying breed, okay? I remember distinctly being in high school, like, waiting for, like, what? Gears of War, Call of Duty, Halo Reach. You know, that golden age of 360 gaming? It feels like the midnight launch is dying.
Mudahar has an obligation to put his hands on the thing he's criticizing in order to judge it to the fullest extent. That's like saying I need to own a slave in order to say that slavery is bad. That's so stupid. You can criticize it from afar. I do not need to buy the Switch 2 to know that Nintendo is a bad company. I do not want to support it, and I do not want to purchase their products that makes them money. That's a terrible argument. That's the argument. You're basically saying that I need to have the thing in order to have an opinion on it or to criticize it. No, you don't. You literally do not. If the thing that I'm criticizing is baked into the cake, it's just knowledge. It's no knowledge. It's things that you know. Then why would I have to buy it? That's like saying that, like, Balenciaga, that stuff where they used children in an inappropriate context to sell more clothing, that I need to buy the clothing to really, like, criticize it. You don't.
Like, it's a great place. Like, you go out to these places, you talk to gamers, you meet some cool people. It's a fun vibe, okay? The last time I went to a midnight release was probably what, like Tears?
Is having a slave a good or bad thing? What kind of question is that, my boy? Are you coming to my chat just to, like, what do you want me to say? It depends. Well, I don't know. I see both sides.
This is the Kingdom. So literally it's just Nintendo keeping it alive. I imagine the next time I get to any game release that has a midnight launch, hopefully it's like GTA 6. But anyways, enough about midnight launches. I don't want to depress myself with a dying breed of something amazing. Anyways, the Switch 2. So how is it, ladies and gentlemen? It's better than the Switch 1. Obviously, it runs better than the Switch 1, obviously. And what about the actual stuff that I've heard, Muda? Does this thing actually run like a brick? So I want to just get past some of the things initially that kind of,
this guy's a traitor.
Flags.
He's
so
a traitor.
The Switch 2 up is really not that convoluted of an
This guy's literally a traitor.
You fire it up, you connect it to a Wi-Fi.
Is he getting paid by Nintendo?
Network. It does need to download an update once you connect it, but there are ways, I believe, that you can just skip entirely connecting and you can just go right into the Switch 2, which I haven't tried it personally, but I haven't read anywhere online that an internet
By the way, he starts glazing it for the rest of the video.
If you set it to performance, it goes up to 40 frames at 720p. Now you might be thinking, well, it's not 60 Muda and it's also 720p. All right, so now for the remainder of the video, I think I'll really just be showing you this footage of... Okay, so now for the remainder of this video, I really think it's better that I show you the handheld footage of Cyberpunk 2077. I actually think that's what most people who are clicking on this video...
I mean, I'm in disbelief, chat. That, you boycott DoorDash and then get it, that's being a traitor. I literally switched to Uber Eats, by the way. You're wrong.
How the Steam version runs... because of the fact that the Steam Deck is a Linux-based device, it's not using...
I'm actually just astounded. So he's just like, he actually is just glazing the gameplay the whole time. I'm shocked. I'm actually really shocked. I'm very disappointed. This is just so sad, actually. Don't buy a 5090, tries to buy it. Don't buy a Switch 2, buys it. Don't buy a PS5 Pro, what's next? Thanks for contributing to Nintendo's god-awful practices, hypocrite. Dude, this is sad. I'm actually very disappointed. I'm not gonna unsubscribe. I like Mudahar. I think that everyone makes mistakes. But I do think it is, like, he knows. Like, he knows the problem. He knows, he's covered extensively the updates in their end user license agreement, and yet he still is talking about how good it is? What? I don't know, man. It's just unfortunate.